Well, how about those Jacksonville Jaguars?
3rd and goal from the 11-yard line. 31-10. Jags lead it and trying to build on it. Dropping is Trevor. Looking. Fires corner of the end zone. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. How in the world did Marvin Jones Jr. come down with that thing with Michael Davis draped all over him? Touchdown, Jaguars!
We're playing well, obviously. We feel great. Our confidence is high. But really, it's just the ability to flip the page and do it again next week. That's what we preached last week. I think it shows a lot about the maturity of our team. Had a big win last week against the Colts. I think to come out here on the West Coast and do the same thing out here really shows that we're focused, we're ready to roll, and just proud of the guys. Defense played amazing. Offensive line. I could talk about a lot of people.
Jaguars radio on the call. Trevor Lawrence after the game. Woo, boy. Duval. Jaguars looked nice yesterday. And let's face it, the Jags are a couple of plays away in week number 1 of being 3-0. Think about this season so far, man. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but right now, the Doug Peterson hire looks phenomenal. Week number 1, they're a couple of plays away from knocking off the Commanders. Last week, they housed Indianapolis 24-0. And then yesterday, hung it on one of the most talented teams in the AFC. Granted, Justin Herbert was banged up. Herbert clearly wincing in pain the entire day. That affects how the Chargers are going to play. But I'm not even talking about holding the Chargers to 10 points in Los Angeles. I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence going on the road to L.A. against that pass rush with that team on the road across the country and hanging 38. He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. And I'm telling you this right now. I think yesterday was officially the Jaguars coming out party. I do. I really do. You know, here's the thing. The Jaguars have drafted relatively well for a while now. It's how they had the foundation to go to the AFC Championship game in 2017. Remember, they could have knocked off the Patriots in that AFC Championship game. It all kind of came together. Even though they had Blake Bortles, they had really good talent on defense. They had really good pieces that they drafted and developed, and they were close. But Marrone couldn't keep it together. The Jalen Ramsey thing got sideways. He wanted out. Leonard Fournette stopped working. The Coughlin hire was bad, and it just kind of eroded. But they had talent. It was there. And then they had to reboot. And Urban Meyer was such a fraud. He is such a fraud. He's such a liar. He's such a thief. He's such a no-good guy. That Urban Meyer just said, oh, easy paycheck. Oh, people like me in Florida. A lot of these Jags fans are Gator fans. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Stealing money, knowing he was not invested at all. He did not care. He didn't care about doing it the right way, didn't care about his assistant coaches, didn't care about his players, only cared about himself. A selfish thief. A selfish, lying thief, Urban Meyer. And the moment that the Jaguars lost a game, instead of stewing over the loss and, God, I owe more to my coaches, I owe more to my young quarterback, I owe more to my players, he stayed back in Columbus and went to his own bar and drank and hit on chicks. Thief. A loser and a thief. And he should never get another head coaching job again. And if you're promoting him to take the Nebraska job, the Arizona State job, you should be ashamed of yourself. He's a thief and a loser, and you don't want him. He's a lying cheat. But look what has happened this year. They bring in Doug Peterson, who by nature is upbeat. By nature is an upbeat, positive guy. And Doug Peterson knows he ain't getting another head coaching job after this one. If this one doesn't go well, he's not getting another one. So he's invested. He's also a quarterback at heart. He was a quarterback in the NFL. So he looks at Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure, and says, my God, I've been delivered the perfectly sculpted franchise QB. I get to work with this every day, and that must invigorate him. Lawrence has the goods, man. He's always had the goods. He had the goods at Clemson. He had the goods last year at Jacksonville. He just needs the right system and coach to help him flourish. He's a little low energy. He's not exactly a hugely motivational guy, but he's steady. He's talented. Great head on his shoulders. You trust him. And now you see the talent that Jacksonville has collected. I know that they might have overspent in the offseason in Christian Kirk. But if you've got salary cap space, you can afford to overspend because you need dependable sets of hands. That's what he brings to the table. Travis Etienne, injured all of last season. James Robinson, for some reason, benched at the end of last season by Urban Meyer. Assistant coaches berated, players embarrassed. Now are just saying, man, we just like coming to work. People are happy to be here. Unlike the ridiculous negativity that surrounded the liar, cheat, and fraud Urban Meyer. And what you're seeing is behind a great quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who throws 28 of 39, 262, 3 touchdowns and no picks, and didn't have a hand laid on him yesterday. No sacks. No sacks at Trevor Lawrence. And the Chargers' strength of the defense has been trying to get after the passer for years. It was the perfect day. I think that was the coming out party because you watch out. Once the Jaguars know they can win games, they're going to be really dangerous. Once they know how to win, oh, look out. Look out. They're the best team in that division. They're the best team in that division. And I'll tell you this. There's always a handful of teams that missed the playoffs last year that make the playoffs this year and vice versa. You watch out for the Jaguars winning the AFC South. Right now, week 3, you watch. You keep that in your brain. If not, you might want to sprinkle a little bit on that right now. Because the Titans finally got off the schneid yesterday, and they do not look right. And I'm not going to count them out, as I said on Friday. They were 0-2. They got the win over the Raiders, but they're not a powerhouse this year. The Colts finally get a win yesterday, and that was a good one over the Chiefs. But we saw the first 2 weeks how miserable Matt Ryan can look and how miserable that offensive line can look. And I tell you, Ryan's at the point in his career where if there is any traffic around him in the pocket, he just gets such happy feet. He gets skittish and just he loses his mind. And a Texans team that ain't winning the division. No offense to Lovie Smith. Of course, you know I love the man, but they ain't winning the division. The Jaguars are the best team in the AFC South right now. And now they've beaten the Colts handily, better than Indianapolis. And they've just gone to the Chargers and whomped them 38-10. You tell me who else in the division would have done that to the Chargers. Again, I know LA has a broken quarterback right now in Herbert. Who else in the AFC South would have went to LA and won by 4 touchdowns? Answer, none of them. Best team of the division.